Hello, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. My name is John Knight. I'm actually the president of FFL Knights, and we have a special guest. Esther E. Money Knight is actually
Hey
in the
everybody,
building. How's it going, Esther?
what's going on, bro?
Nice, nice. So,
Ay,
Esther,
ay.
so Esther, you had a record week. You had a record week for our team. So you beat me. So you're probably happy about that.
Oh gosh, we always have to keep that sibling rivalry, alive,
Yeah.
alive and well, because I'm always going to be better than you. You understand?
No, you gotta remember who's the best, right? I gotta let you get some wins. Keep that council bill down, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh goodness,
Yeah.
it's too
Well,
much fun.
yeah. So I know you're super busy, Esther. But I just wanted to have you on. I thought um it was really incredible what you've done in the last year, transitioning from the hotel industry to the insurance industry. So just tell us a little bit about um, that transition and why you think you've been so successful. Because most people can't usually replace that income within 6 months, which you pretty much did within 6 months to a year. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, obviously with the onset of COVID and then what that looked like after, the hospitality industry is suffering. It still is. I mean, there's a lot of short staff. There's a lot of operational issues, and it's very difficult to deliver that guest experience anymore. It's not that you can't do it, but it's a lot harder to do it. And I think for myself, because I absolutely loved what I was doing, I knew that at some point everything that you do has an expiration date, and I think a lot of times when you look at your own performance in corporate America, there's some certain limitations that you run into because maybe there aren't open positions, maybe because they just don't feel like you've reached that level. There's a lot of politics, I mean, call it what it is, but there's always a barrier to keep you from getting to where you need to go. And so I started to think to myself, you know what? How would I do if I didn't have somebody looking over my shoulder, someone sabotaging, the way that I do things, or someone constantly critiquing me, or making me feel like I could do so much better or I could be so much better. So if I'm my own critic, then I know what I'm capable of doing. And I need to align myself with the type of industry that's going to compensate me for what I know I can do. So, period, point blank, that's really what made me think, you know what, I better jump ship now, before that ship sinks. Because, I'm not a strong swimmer. I mean, really, I'm not. So, I
No.
don't think I'd want to drown, in that situation. So yeah, I took the leap. It was a super leap of faith because, I was pretty comfortable. Come on, 20 years in the industry. I mean, that's
Yeah.
something. I mean, I was a veteran. I could show a lot of people how it's done. And even if I went back to it, I probably still could. But I wanted this because I wanted to prove that what. There is a certain thing known as, like, you can be a sales leader, you can be an engaging person, you can be a person of faith, you can be charismatic, but you have to put yourself in a position where you really have to show that on the outside. It has to come from the inside outside. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's easy to talk the talk, but you got to
Yes.
be able to walk the walk. So when we're sitting around dealing with a lot of people that are fake and it sounds good, and you got a great smile and I love that handshake, what are you really like when you're out there and maybe it's been a low week, or low sales week, or when there's been a bunch of no's and not that many yeses? I want to know if you're still that engaging, charismatic, amazing, driven person. So that is what FFL has done for me. That's what being an insurance producer, and now trying to be an agency builder is all about. Is that you're going to have to take the good with the bad. And when we did it in corporate America, you took the good with the bad, but you knew you were going to get a paycheck if it was bad. And if it was good, you might just get a bonus. So I mean, when we're in this type of industry, things can be very different in the fact that no week is the same, and it's the impact that the people that you sit with make for you, um, and it's the growth, the personal growth that is unmatched. It's, I can't even describe it honestly. So I mean, we could be sitting here all day, talking about it, but I think about the person I was before
Yes.
this and the person that I am now. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a lot more humble. I mean, I was always the person that was super appreciative for having a job, and I would tell, many of my associates, the same thing. Hey, you should be glad you have a job. There's some people that don't have a job, but I mean, being able to do this and kind of just dictate what my future looks like, because it's really on me, is huge. So,
Do you remember saying this to me? I remember you saying this to me. You said, um, I want to. We had some kind of conversation about being a business owner, and you're like, I know how it feels, and I was thinking that you had a budget, like they give you a budget to work with, and we're here. You're like actually using your obviously your own money, and what what is a difference in terms of mindset, like when you have a budget as opposed to, you actually being responsible for, your production and what happens in your agency.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's huge because when you have somebody else's money to spend, yeah, you're obviously going to kind of manage it the best way you can because that's your job. That's what you get paid to do.
Hmm.
Um, but if something happens, there's some huge anomaly that takes place, and you have something, floods, or it's just something that happens. Pipes burst or whatever the case may be, you have to fix it because it's an
Hmm.
operational thing. But when it's coming out of your pocket and you're not in the right mindset to be motivated and to be driven to keep going, and even when it's been, the best week of your life, the sales week of your life, you realize, hey, I'm back to zero.
Yep.
I haven't put anything on the books. I haven't been able to protect any families. So, I got to get back out there, and I have to make it known that I'm here to help, and that this is what, my job is. And, I tell you, reputation now as a 1099 is different than reputation because you're associated with a brand or a company or whatever,
Hmm.
that's, you're your brand at this point. So, how does that translate, so.
Definitely. And tell us a little bit about your mindset and kind of what you've had to overcome. Because I mean, you had an incredible week helping 18 families this week, and then or this the previous week, and then the week before helping over 10 families. So, tell us a little bit about maybe your mindset previously and how much that actually plays into you having success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. When I first took this opportunity, I was like, oh, well, that's cool. I get to work with family.
Hmm.
you know I get to work with my brother. That's cool. Oh, he's kind of like my boss or something. Oh, okay, no big deal. But as I kind of moved along, I've been on travel trips. I've done a lot of different things, just to kind of build, momentum. And it was a learning lesson from all of those trips. I mean, there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of complaining. There was a lot of expectations. There was a lot of distractions. Yes, it's fun to see friends. It's fun to hang out. It's fun to go back in the day when we were in our 20s, and we were having a great time. But when it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work. And if I don't manage that time and I don't make sense of it, I've wasted so much money because I just booked this trip to make money or to protect families or to do, what I'm supposed to do, as an insurance underwriter, as a insurance broker. So I mean, that was the biggest moment for me, was seeing that I could have been so much more effective if I
Yep.
would have been disciplined. So for a couple months, it was that. And the more I started going to some of these conferences and talking to top producers, and just kind of, even listening to things that you would say, it started to really dawn on me that, you're hitting you're creating a ceiling for yourself. you're
Hmm.
going back to a W-2 mentality. And when you've been W-2 and, for a long time, it's easy to kind of sit back, this is simple, but it's not easy. I
Yes.
mean, it's so simple. But we can make it complicated. And I would just say that you have to be speaking to the right people. You have to have the right engaging, charismatic, driven, amazing entrepreneurs speaking to you. You have to keep your circle small. You have to cut out negativity. I mean, you've got to get sleep. You've got to make sure you hit the gym. You got to make sure that you're feeding the right things, getting that right type of fuel. That stop messing with that 87 octane. Get up on that 93 or whatever. I don't know, but you better get something good, running through your tank, because if you deal with people that are not going to push you to that place, um, it's going to be a bad day for you, a couple bad days, And let's not forget, some of us have families to support, so we can't afford to just let the day go by, and not feel that we've been doing any work, that we've kept some activity going. So that's huge. Activity, consistency, all that stuff, And when you get to talk to top producers at some of these conferences, like the Miami conference, talking to the number one producer in FFL, and then passing by other Hall of Fame producers, and just getting a chance to take 5 minutes with them. It's amazing. I will tell you some of the most I think impactful, and kind of just looking at videos and stuff like that. Definitely shout out to Brandon Kitchens,
Yes.
Steve Giordano,
Yes,
Josh
Steve.
Williams.
Yep.
These guys, Dave Witchard, and
Yep.
of course, Sean Mike, because I
Neil
think
McMahon.
solidifies, yeah, and Neil, oh, the precious Neil,
Yeah, good on you.
love Neil to pieces. Just having these types of people that you're listening to, or that you're watching behind, and seeing the passion that they have, and the hunger that they have, and just never giving up. I mean, that's what really makes every day worth it, sitting down and just making a difference. And let's not forget about the families either, man. Like, honestly, I've had some super engaging moments. Like I said, I had a lady on the phone the other day. She basically, we have been working because there were declines. And she's like, you know what? I love you for hanging in there with me. It's like, man, you don't get everybody to tell you they love you.
Yeah,
Sometimes your
but
own
that
your loved ones don't tell you that. But I mean, it's like it's something to have that, and the hugs. And I mean, I've had lunches out, I mean, just because I'm protecting their loved ones by
Mhm.
making sure that they have this financial cushion. So
Yeah, and I think that's a level of humility and humbleness to be able to work with somebody like that, because a lot of times, you know some agents get into their own head because it's taken longer than you expected, to help them get covered. But the whole thing that you got to realize, and which what sounds like you have realized, is that you just hang in there and you just help them as best as you can. And the fact that they appreciate the fact that you're not giving up, that once you had one or two, or maybe even three declines, that you're still going to find something that's going to be able to help them. So, what are some tips that you can give somebody that's starting out new, just to have success? Because I know you weren't maybe 100% um, bought in, but you still had a good amount of success in the beginning, and you've continued that. But what do you think are some tips that can help people be more successful, or get to that place faster?
well, I mean, I'll be honest that if you have the person that brought you into the business, you got to make sure that you're listening to what they tell you. I mean, you've got to be a little ignorant to it. I mean, obviously, if it was a warm market recruit, you're already used to the insurance business. Okay, maybe you come to it a different way. But if you're stepping into this and you're not an industry person, first time, not really knowing what it's about, you got to listen to your upline. You got to listen to the people that have done it. When you go out there, no, you're not going to have all the information about the insurance. Basically, what we know is that if we pass away, it's something that's going to pay out. If that's all that you know, that's probably enough. When it
Absolutely.
comes to conditions, when it comes to pre-existing conditions, stuff like that, reach out to that person. And you know, when I started out and I didn't know squat about anything, I would call you, call you, call you, call you. And you remember times when I would be sitting in someone's house for 3 hours and I'm like, hey man, I don't know if they're going to throw me out. And I kept telling them, I'm sorry, but we got to call and get this figured out just so that
That's
we do
right.
it right. So you know, you have to, you got to crawl before you walk. And I mean, truly it can be baby steps, really. But that's when you have to stay humble, and you got to be patient, because you're going to have that breakout moment. Some people have it earlier than others, but it's staying positive and then going through the process. You know, you got to stay on the phones. I can tell you in the beginning, you know, I don't like to sit a lot because I'm used to kind of getting up and running. It was hard to sit. It was hard to sit. It was hard to sit. But, you know, the dial days you've got to commit to. Now I've sit, you know, 6 or 7 days a week, you know, just dialing, you know, every time, you know, I get my leads in, I'm on the phone. So, but there's a lot of discipline to that. And it's when you dial and what type of energy, you know, you allow yourself to take in. More good energy than bad energy, because I've had recruits myself, and I can tell you that it is difficult because everybody's looking for instant gratification. Some people don't think that it should be this difficult. Some people don't think that there should be no's. Like, why would anyone say no to you? Or why wouldn't, you know, 10 people, you know, want to do this? But, you know, or why, you know, wouldn't somebody want to protect their family? Every person I call should say yes. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great expectation. But we know about great expectations, you know? So at the same time, when that person says no, the next one, the next one, the next one, there's going to be somebody that says yes. And so even whenever you get on your run days and you know you have no shows, you know you got a door knock, you got to have a plan B, C, D, E, you know, just to get it done, you know. And at the end of the day, this is, you know, about helping people. But you've got to be passionate about that, and you've got to be passionate about what insurance does for people. I think that if you've ever experienced a passing in your family and you've actually had to come up with money that maybe you didn't have, or you know, it was it was a heartbreaking situation, a very emotional situation. But on top of that, there was no money. Believe me, you can tell some stories to some people about why this is a very important thing to have, and it's affordable. You know,
Yeah.
even if you had a budget of $20 a month, oh, we can find you something. If you got a budget of $50, we can find you something. If you want to, you know, invest and you want to look at, you know, lifetime income, if you want to look at, you know, a little nest egg for your kiddos, a single mom like me, you know, where you know you you have one child and it's always just been you, you can find ways to set him up financially so that you don't continually have to dig in your pocket, you know, like on the high end, you know, for some of these things like a car or college or whatever. No, I'm going to go to the life insurance policy that I've been paying and get the money from there, you know. So, you know, there's ways to be strategic with this, you know, and it's not just about, you know, death. It's, you know, providing, you know, financial security for people. So
Yes.
got to have an open mind, you know, and be willing to learn and, you know, learn from others. And the humble side of it, oh please, you know, we can't even talk about that. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to have personal growth. If you have it all figured out, you probably won't do well with this.
No, no, no. And I think that
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's why people struggle is because, like, even though I was in the industry for over 10 years, and Neil was showing me different things, I had to make sure that I'm just acting like I never was in the industry and just kind of almost forget about everything I know, and just absorb as much as I can of what he's trying to show me. Because your learning curve will be so much quicker when you do that instead of, and that's why you say sometimes you say, well, this person been in the industry. I said, well, sometimes I think that's not always a good thing. I mean, it might be good because we can get them licensed really fast, but sometimes we have to kind of fight all the other things that was taught incorrectly, and all the other, like, all the emotions, and maybe all the sometimes when those insurance agents got beat down. So you got to fight all that instead of you coming in fresh, not knowing the industry and being willing to learn and say, hey, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been in the industry, or I've had very limited experience, and I want to get better at this. And that's what I've really really like about your leadership is you keep wanting to get better. I mean, you're teaching me things about different things about products and things like that. So, um, a lot of times when you're helping somebody else, you're actually teaching yourself when you're helping somebody else. So, I really appreciate you always being able to lean on you and help out with the agency. Um, so talk a little. Let's talk a little bit about uh, let's talk a little bit about our dad, kind of getting in the industry and kind of showing us, or kind of using that example of kind of what it is to be a professional and what role he kind of plays in, us coming in the industry and you coming in the industry.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing that I will say is that, before it became an insurance thing for him, he was always the type of person that um, kept us looking for more.
Yep.
It's never good enough. You can do better. I
Yep.
remember all through college and everything else, he was a massive person to push, and never using race, never using having any other type of excuses for why you're not able to do anything.
Yes.
And the way that he brought us up, it's just the sky is the limit. And so I know for him. Going into insurance and, learning about so many other things and then going back to school, whenever he was older. Um, Super, super disciplined guy, when I tell you, you talk about a superhero, that you could watch every day of your life. I mean, that's who he was, for me. And I think there's a certain, side of a girl or a daughter being super close with her dad. I mean, that to me is was everything. So I don't go into anything feeling intimidated, feeling concerned, lacking confidence. I mean, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, I actually still hear him, saying, oh, you could have did this, you should have done that better. I mean, I appreciate him being hard on me because that's why I will never, give up. I don't care what it is. I mean, we've got all types of journeys that we're going on. I mean, it's a weight loss journey. It's a journey to build your business. It's a journey to just wake up every day and love yourself. I mean, there's so many things that, we're dealing with. Maybe how are you going to have a little bit more faith? And he was the vessel of all of that stuff. He just it's one of those things I can't even really describe it. I think that having that entrepreneurial spirit, and actually knowing what it was to be in corporate America and everything, all of the all of the issues,
Yeah, and the challenges. Yeah.
the challenges that entails. I mean, you know, I was so fortunate to have him speaking to us at a young age because the maturity just came, over time. And now it's just like again, it's just full circle. Every day is a learning experience. Every day is a day, an opportunity to get better. So I'm grateful, to him for that. And it's funny because although he's no longer with us, he still lives in everything that we do.
Yeah.
His everything that he gave us, the wisdom, the love and the stick to itiveness that he had. And I'm talking about Die Hard, a Die
Mhm.
Hard hustler, and it was never too good. I can still, hear him laughing. I can still, think about times when he used to, dance in the kitchen or whatever, and we would just be, like shaking our head. But yeah, I mean, he is a big part of, why we've kind of evolved into this, and knowing, hey, I'm gonna get to the end of this. I'm gonna find the light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
what do you think? Do you think we'll maybe have James in at some point?
Nah, you know what? I don't know.
It would
I
be
think
pretty
I
cool.
think I think that you were the number one risk taker. Then I might have, done some stupid things or did some things that I don't know if it made sense or not. I think I was more of a risk taker in my social life and not my professional life. Had I been a risk taker in my professional life,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would be a millionaire right now. But hey, there's always some time, right? We're
Well,
not too old.
yeah. Well, in due time, right? In due time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe if we were millionaires, he might decide to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Once we roll up in the Bentley or the Rolls Royce, and he's like, "I'm in," right?
Yeah,
Or maybe it might have to be like a car or something that we bring over to the house. Like, you ready to go now? So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He'd still have a weird reaction, like that's not yours, is it?
Uh till they see the pink
Yeah.
slip, right?
Oh
Right.
gosh, yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. So well, awesome. So Esther, what if somebody wants to work with you? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So, I am on most of the social media sites. I love, LinkedIn because I'm more of a business oriented person. I don't, always like to do more of the social creeping on, people's business and do they have this and they have that. I don't do that, but I am on Facebook as Esther Knight. I'm on Instagram, my favorite, because that's where I get to look at all my organic and workout type stuff. But anyway, I'm on there under financial services is what I've listed. So it's Queen E 1832. And my phone number is listed across there, 717-773-1832. The most infamous number known to any
Is it
individual.
now?
I've,
Is
I've
it
had
now?
it for a long time, different states, literally different states. Yeah, those are a couple of ways to get a hold of me. LinkedIn, I'm on there as Esther Knight too. So, yeah, I think that's all of them there. But yeah, I mean, I guess, if you're the type of person that really wants to feel good about every day, that you have, or at least, you know, have some personal growth along the way. Because I can tell you, you think that you're developed and you think you kind of know a little something, but I have the utmost respect for, 1099s, entrepreneurs, people that have built something on their own because what you think you have as a corporate, and there's nothing wrong with people, working in corporate America, but I promise you, what you think you have, the grit and the stick to itiveness and to the tenacity, the charisma, you don't even have a percentage of what those people have. I used to sit back and say, oh, you're working on 100% commission. Huh, I'd never do that. And then here I am, so I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I think
some
I
days,
think
sometimes I wake up and I'm like, did you really just do that? Like, remember,
yeah,
you used to have
yeah,
a salary. You used to complain about your salary, but you used to
exactly.
have a salary. At least you knew what you were getting, every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
But this is like one of those surprises. Every time you get a family, every time you get a lead, it is like a little what is it, Cracker Jack box, right?
yeah,
Sometimes you open that box and maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but
yeah,
sometimes you get what you want. So, but anyway, it's about loving people and helping people, and so that's the best thing. So, if you want to work with somebody that's not going to give you excuses, somebody that's not going to put their arms around you every day and speak you into existence of life and all of that, and you want to work hard and you want to help people, you can definitely hit me up. So.
yeah, definitely. Now she won't do the push-ups for you. That's what Neil always says. But she
I,
will.
I got to worry about doing my own push-ups
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's
making sure
right.
I have the correct form.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But that's a good point that you make about the entrepreneurial spirit, and even at this level, like 12 years, 13 years in the game, you still learn stuff about yourself. And if you truly want a challenge, you think you're really good in your industry, or you think you're a really good salesperson or entrepreneur. I mean, this is the challenge that you want, because we're looking for people that obviously want to be challenged, want to help people, and want to grow. And this is the best way to grow. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And you got to be willing to hang in there. I mean,
absolutely,
I'm telling you, we've seen some dark days, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
But
even
that's
gonna lie, but that is a part of that growth that I'm talking about. The humility, that people have in our industry, and we know that there are a lot of them that are doing very well.
yeah,
They're not too good to talk to you or myself when
that's
we're
right.
used to some of those other people that you've met in corporate America at different events, and they say hi to you every time because they don't ever remember even talking to you.
That's right.
They
That's
that
right.
you just saw them,
You're just
the
a
other
number.
week on a conference call, and they still didn't know. So I mean,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Or sat. I've had people that sat right in the same room with me that I never even
Yeah,
spoke to. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it has.
crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and the fact that somebody across the country like Brandon, you can easily call him on the phone and he's willing to help, and that's just a whole culture. I could name off like you said, Steve, John Pierre, all these people. Um, that would help you at any a drop of a hat. So we're just blessed to be here, and I'm honored to obviously be in business with you, and I'm looking forward to everything you're gonna do.
Well, I feel the same way, bro. And there are days when you piss me off, but we get past it, don't we?
That's right. That's right.
All right, man.
All right. Well, you take care, and we appreciate you being on.
All right.
All right.
Okay, you too. All right.
All right.
Bye bye.